I don't know if this is working. We will see. Ah,
Morning, Deborah Leanne.
good morning. I have a feeling that it's not on YouTube because I didn't um, set it up. Oh, it's doing a School of Light. It's we're gonna have to cut off this beginning part. Okay. Stream dashboard. Go live. Okay. Now I believe we are live. Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning, Deborah Leanne. We'll try this one more time.
Or second or third time or whatever is the charm. We're always learning and growing. That's why we play with each other in this way every week, and then we share our learnings and growings with all y'all. So, um, what is our topic this week, Suzanne? Because this is a it's kicking me too, but I know you've been playing with it.
Yeah, this is the 47th gene key, and it's all about transmuting the past. So the shadow work is the feeling of oppression, and the gift is transmutation, and the Siddhic state is transfiguration.
Yeah, I had a hard time even getting beyond the shadow. This one. So, well, because what I find so fascinating is, and we've been playing with this for weeks, with the distraction and the forgetting and all of the ways that we turn away from our truth and our essence and our beingness. And this karmic thing that may not even be ours most of the time, right? We're carrying around, our ancestral DNA with all kinds of craziness in it. And every time we try to escape it and go, I'm not listening to you, it just gets louder and bigger, and it manifests in ways either through our bodies or through drama in our life. And a lot of cultures call it karma. So when I
Mhm.
got through that part of it, I thought, this makes sense. And I notice how when I used to have a life that was filled with exterior drama, it was it was before I was tuned into working and healing and focusing on that myself. Since I have taken that and looked inside or in the interior or the essence behind it all, underneath it all, whatever you want to call it, it's so fascinating because now I have internal drama all the time. So so let's so just knowing that that is a very human and common thing, how do we get from, and that's what creates the oppression, which just feels like that heaviness, which a lot of people will describe right now as exhaustion or lack of energy or whatever. Tell me your experience around this. Is this true for you?
Well, it is true for me, but I think for me, I know that it happens. So I've just got to face it. Like it's for all of us to do. It's not like anyone's immune to not facing these parts of ourselves. Um,
And the
and
pain and the
right,
ugliness and the
that's the hard part, especially when you are dealing with aloneness. And I think Richard says something about that. And we're talking about Gene Key 47 from the Gene Keys written by Richard Rudd. And it's a facing that he says it's facing adversity with grace. So recognizing and taking ownership of your vehicle, recognizing that some of it may be yours, but some of it's ancestral, and just doing the work.
and
And
collective, right? I feel like very often, even when I one of the things that motivates me to do the work is to think, okay, this isn't even just for me. This is
Right.
for my daughters. This is for their children. This is the healing, forwards and backwards along the timeline. And then I have a little bit more uh, incentive, shall we say, to get to keep doing the heavier lifting, shall we say, of that healing. Um, and then the gift, though, which is so beautiful on the other side, is once we sit with it, it's like the
Oh,
yeah, it's like the angels start singing and the gates open, and it's like, oh, so that's what they call the
mutation.
transmutation. So as alchemists, right?
Yeah.
So or magi or whatever we want to call it, our own priestesses, we are moving through this energy and allowing it to kind of uh I mean, I don't think it goes away, but that it is healed. That it like it's
Well, what's interesting is he says, um, your suffering is a magic mirror. It's yours to own, to appreciate, and to accept. Only when you finally stop trying to avoid it can it show you its magic. And then it goes on to say, he talked about the fact that the meditation and any kind of sacred practice actually burns the karma before it even like could start. So, there might be seedlings in there in our junk DNA, and because we're doing the work, and we're staying present to ourselves, it eradicates all of that belief of karma, because we're creating something new,
okay. Okay.
consciously creating something new.
So this reminds me of something I had read years ago in a science blog, paper research thing, that everybody has the cells that become cancerous. It's like we all have them, but only certain people at certain times will have those cells become cancerous. Like they take on that junk DNA or they take on the unhealthy aspects and then manifest into the disease. So, what I'm wondering is if this active spiritual practice of meditating, contemplative, creativity, or however that expresses itself through each person's lives, that is a way to kind of allow them to like rest or
Well, it's to see it clearly. I mean,
oh,
everyone,
without all of the mental gyrations around it.
right. And what's interesting is he says evil is nothing but our fear manifested in the world as
Okay.
a, and so if we can truly see the illusion, be present to our own suffering and be with it, to recognize that this is just part of our humanity, then we go through these transmutations. All right. So just think about when you have your aha moments and things like completely shift in your body as well as in your life. Okay. You go through these, and you might be feeling like on top of the world, right? So I when you have those moments and it's like, oh yes, I finally reached nirvana, like this feels awesome. And then you plateau again. and,
Oh, yeah.
and and then you're like, oh, I'm back here again. I
I'm
know that.
human. Oh, damn. I'm human after all.
And
I,
then
yeah. And
but it but I think that's the spiral, right? So you get, okay, I used to say this, it's like, can I get an upgrade, like we have our up leveling moments and then we get to experience it on a whole nother level.
yeah,
So
it's the same. What is it? Same shit, different day.
right,
But and with through a different lens, so it looks a
right,
little different, which is why sometimes as elders, I'll speak for myself, you're not there yet, but as an elder, when we look back through the decades, we can go, oh man, look how that happened, and then it happened again, and then it happened again, and then it happened again. You know, it's a cyclical process because it is a lesson that I am here to learn in this lifetime.
Right.
And I think it doesn't
Nobody's
mean that if I learn it once, I'm done.
right. And what's so funny is that we can't take on other people's stories or other people's missions, right? So we all have our own that we're here to work
Thank
through.
goodness. I wouldn't want to do all of these. You
No.
know,
And so what he says is that, you know, we thrive on adversity. Think about that for a minute. You thrive on adversity. You welcome in the challenges because you know that that is the key that more light will be released.
exactly. And I find how he said that whole thing about karma and light and opening to even more and welcoming each of the challenges to go, oh goody, I'm gonna get more. I'm getting my
I'm getting an upgrade. Whoop, whoop.
yeah, it doesn't feel so good in the moment though. So I now I because at first I was like, what are all these trans words? You know, it's transmutation, and then then the Siddhic state of transfiguration, and that's like when it's totally we're operating at that like top of the mountain space where we can see it all and we
It's the
allow it
atonement,
all,
or
and it
I call
is.
it the atonement, the at one-ment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before we get to that transfiguration, this is a good quote. The only way to transcend suffering is to move more deeply into it,
Turn into it. Mhm.
embracing every feeling and every event that comes to you. This is the way of deep immersion into the currents of life, and it is the way of surrender. And as we do that, we can release. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday who said, you know, let's just think about the pen, right? The pen, it it can draw new things. It's the creator, right? It creates stuff. So give all your worries, all your everything away into the pen and put it down. Let God deal with the worries and the fear. Just we're here to manifest our brilliance and our true essence. And so I think that's what we're also learning as being human, is to recognize the divine in all things.
Yeah.
And
And
once we, you know, stop getting impressed, I'll say impressed by the noise or the challenge, thinking that it's insurmountable. No, we've been gifted it so that we can move through it and trust more in our divine guidance.
yeah. And that is where we need to get out of our own way. I find the expression that I heard, man, 25 years ago or so, how often we steer our boat to go up against the current. Like, I'm just gonna like turn around and like row really, really hard into that current.
Can I
You
just
know,
say energy efficiency 101?
yeah. Turn around and just go with the current. I mean, and the other example
But
is what?
don't hold
Like,
on to the banks either. You know,
oh
that's
my God, are you kidding? Like the rocks, like the yeah, like the white water. You just let go. Just let go and let it take you. Um, there's that other analogy about why we have such a big windshield to see where we're going, to look forward, and a little tiny um, rear view mirror to see behind us, you know? And oh yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. And which is great. It's there to inform us. It's there to, you know, just kind of, it doesn't mean that we didn't experience that. We understand that. But there's that surrender thing and the trust. And that is something that that one Sufi teacher I studied with, I so appreciated. he was always like, there are times where you're not going to be able to find that on your own. So you just pray and go, hey, I could use some divine trust right now because it is not accessible to me in this little human body right now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot. I welcome that wisdom, that intuition, that knowledge, that trust. Uh, versus, well, why? You know, and I get angry at myself. Like, well, what's wrong with you? You know, you should just be trusting what's going on. And I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Oh, yeah,
calm down, honey.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So,
So I just want to read this other section that I wrote this morning.
okay.
This is mine, my writing, but I am the still small voice. So I was having a discussion with God this morning, right?
Mm,
And I heard, I am the still small voice. So quiet the noise and listen. Give all your worries and pain to me, and you allow me to flow through you. Make space for the divine to be. Timing is all in flow and orchestrated. So be gentle with yourself and with others. Kindness is key, and patience must have her perfect work. So allow grace to play. Lightness will follow, and love encompasses it all.
beautiful. Beautiful. Ah, so many gorgeous words in there. The it brings to mind the four pillars of why I'm attracted to be a Gene Key guide, and I know that you model these as well. But gentleness, patience, contemplation, and inquiry. Those four pillars are not just the pillars to work with the Gene Key material, but they guide my life now. And I describe them to every client I work with. I try to describe them to my family members to say, whoa, 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 you know, let's use these as our foundation. And so thank you. You brought like gentleness and patience and grace and love in there. But I'm just, oh, I love this opportunity to have these chats with you, Susanne. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will see how our experiment worked being live on YouTube. And someday we'll figure out a way to allow for interaction through questions and comments and um, having people pop on to further add to the conversation. And I just want to thank everyone for um, up until this point for being a part of our community. We do this for ourselves, but we also are doing this in service to each of you. So, till our next time,
Blessings.
yes, thank you. Bye bye.